Akiba and Shibuya freeze up like their controllers just disconnected mid-match. Their brains are buffering because they recognize that face instantly. It is Noah, the cosplay goddess who sells out inventory faster than a scalper bot on launch day. While the boys are hyperventilating, Komachio just waves casually, totally immune to the celebrity aura radiating off her. Shibuya hits us with the lore drop. Komachio is not just a photographer, she is the camera god. This woman could take a picture of a dumpster and make it look like a 5-star hotel. Suddenly, some random NPC in a fedora tries to gatekeep them. He claims they only shoot in studios. Komachio rolls her eyes so hard she sees her own brain, wondering if this guy thinks they are aliens or something. Shibuya ignores the hater and starts fanboying over Noah's fit. It is the personified Luca from Rose Maiden. Top-tier taste confirmed. Komachio spots talent and instantly recruits Shibuya for a shoot. No interview, no resume, just vibes. Shibuya stands there looking like he just won the lottery without buying a ticket. Meanwhile, Minoru is having a full-blown existential crisis. She is surrounded by clout demons and feels like a level 1 slime wandering into a boss room. She is thinking, I am just a trespasser here. Ouch. Shibuya is not having that self-pity. She grabs Minoru's wrist and drags her into the spotlight like she is presenting Exhibit A in a murder trial. The verdict is unanimous. Noah and Komachio love the look. They want pictures right now. Minoru is sweating bullets, wondering if this is a prank or a dream. But the crowd is ruthless. They spot the celebs, then they lock onto Minoru. The whispers start buzzing like angry hornets. Who is she? Why is she standing next to the gods? Minoru's anxiety meter hits critical mass. She feels the weight of every stare drilling into her soul. It does not feel like a meetup anymore, it feels like a public execution. Time for some real talk. Minoru remembers the internet hate she got back in the day. The comment section was a war zone, and she was the target practice. Noah pulls up her own receipts. Doxing, invasive questions, creeping. It is the price of admission for fame, and honestly, it is disgusting. Noah steps in with that big sister energy. She tells Minoru to ignore the NPCs and take control of her own narrative. Then she drops the hardest line yet. Your art is worth 500 trillion yen. Minoru cannot hold it back anymore. The floodgates open and the tears start flowing. Vibe check passed. They decide to seal the deal with a group photo. Minoru admits she does not even have a cool handle yet, but nobody cares about the details. They squeeze in for the selfie. Click. History made. The squad is officially online. Alan scoops up the team, but the vibe in the backseat is not just loud, it is straight up radioactive. Minoru engages Yap mode, dissecting every single pixel of those photos like he is cracking the Da Vinci Code. Shibuya has to practically tackle him verbally just to get a syllable in edgewise. The air pressure in the car drops to 0. Shibuya's face goes stone cold. She drops the bomb. She admits she snapped his cosplay pics without a permit and used them to hunt him down like a bounty hunter. It is peak stalker behavior, and she knows she is cooked. Minoru does not even blink. In his head, he calculates the odds and realizes that without her creeper moves, he would still be stuck at square one. He tells her he is not mad, he is actually grateful she went full detective mode. He doubles down and sends the party invite. No solo leveling today, they are running this raid together. Shibuya's waterworks explode. She is just relieved she did not just get canceled in real life. Up front, Alan is fighting for her life against the cuteness aggression. She grips the steering wheel until her knuckles turn white, sobbing over her precious students. She is about 5 seconds away from driving them into a ditch out of pure wholesome joy. She demands to see the cosplay photos right now. The car goes silent enough to hear a pin drop. The cringe levels spike through the roof. Shibuya decides that is a problem for future Shibuya and shuts it down. As for Minoru, the guy is already snoozing, completely unbothered. Back in the VIP lounge, Komachio is scrolling through her gallery like she just discovered fire. She is soaking in that sweet nostalgia. Honestly, she is already suffering from withdrawal symptoms after parting ways with that chaotic duo. It is strictly wholesome vibes in here. Noah pops her head in and signals that it is time to bounce. The fun is over. They hit the local izakaya for the mandatory post-arc feast. You cannot save the world on an empty stomach. Komachio admits she secured the goods. She got the high-definition photos of her favorite ship. A true woman of culture. Noah points out the obvious fact that those two were definitely high schoolers. The youth energy was blinding. Komachio agrees but immediately flips the script. She asks about Noah's own debut back in the day. Noah gets that 1,000-yard stare like she is having flashbacks. The struggle was real. Balancing a part-time job with full-time studies was a logistical nightmare that would break a lesser mortal. Her wallet was crying tears of blood. She had to rely on budget strats like simple suits and secondhand uniforms. You gotta respect the hustle when the bank account is on life support. Komachio, meanwhile, had the ultimate cheat code. She is a pay-to-win player. Her brother literally gifted her a high-end DSLR the second she showed interest. Must be nice to be rich, but here is the kicker. When she mentions shooting an outdoor event alone, Noah instantly starts mauling. She screams "cheater" at top volume because she got left behind. The drama queen energy is off the charts right now. While Noah was losing her absolute mind, Komachio was busy treating her friend Shuguriyama like a glorified piece of furniture in the bamboo grove, just using the poor guy as a human tripod. He tried to hype up the lighting to earn some brownie points, but she just leaned in, squinting to make sure her angles were strictly high definition. Zero appreciation for the hustle. Back at school, she tried to recruit Noah for a private photo shoot. The request hit Noah's brain like a flashbang, causing the poor girl to completely short-circuit right in the hallway. Komachio hit her with that deadpan sarcasm. No, I mean the other fox girl. She was not taking no for an answer, basically locking Noah into the contract with sheer pressure. They finally linked up offline. Noah was sweating bullets, convinced she was walking straight into a mugging setup instead of a collaboration. It suddenly clicked for Komachio that she had never actually seen the girl behind the mask. The suspense was thick enough to cut with a knife, and then the door creaked open. Noah stepped out looking like a high-budget anime protagonist, complete with the invisible background sparkles and wind effects. She was radiating main character energy, but she ruined the vibe instantly. "I am a minor." Komachio froze solid, practically hearing the police sirens wailing in her imagination. She was calculating the jail time in real time. Komachio decided to keep it 100. She looked Noah dead in the eye and admitted she used to think she was a total creep. Noah immediately threw up the defense shields, claiming she wasn't weird, she was just appreciating the artistic direction of anime openings. Sure, tell that to the judge. Then Noah dropped her actual life plan. Forget a stable career. She wanted to get absolutely shredded just to cosplay a buff old man character one day. You honestly have to respect the commitment to the bit. The vibe switched to late-night deep talks. Noah stared out the rainy window, the gloom outside making the room feel cozy as she got emotional about how lucky they were to meet in Akiba. Komachio softened up, admitting she was actually glad they were stuck in this chaotic hobby together. But Komachio couldn't resist poking the bear. She brought up Noah's old confession just to watch her squirm. Noah tried to argue she was the cool one in that scenario, but the massive blush taking over her face said otherwise. Then Komachio dropped the nuclear option. She locked in, ignored the banter, and asked the only question that actually mattered. What do you think about dating? Komachio read the room and decided to ignore the heavy atmosphere completely. She raised the camera like a drill sergeant and told him to get back to the grind. Noah's brain short-circuited. He started screaming internally, terrified that she just tricked him into a binding contract of love. He thought, did I just sign my life away? But the hustle is real. He speed changed into his fur coat instantly. The man operates on pure panic energy. The jokes died down instantly. He asked if his feelings were obvious. She just looked away, whispering a painful apology that cut deeper than a knife. He tried to save the play. He admitted he loved her, but he hesitated. He added the words, "I think." That doubt was absolute poison. He started rambling about his cosplay philosophy, desperately trying to explain why he was so scared of commitment. He is digging his own grave with a shovel made of words. She cut him off with a surgical strike. She guessed an ex-girlfriend used him as a dress-up doll. Noah screamed. She hit the nail right on the head. She told him to stop being an idiot. She wasn't that shallow. She liked the cool guy and the nervous wreck equally. Then she dropped the tactical nuke. No more just cosplay partners. She was upgrading their status effective immediately. She didn't wait for a signature on the dotted line. She leaned in, eyes locked on the target, and closed the distance. She planted a kiss right on his lips. Time stopped. No cameras, no lights, just the two of them in the void. She pulled back with tears in her eyes, totally vulnerable. Noah just stood there, his brain completely fried. Game over. Komachio needs a factory reset after that kiss, so she reaches for the liquid courage. One sip later, and her face is glowing brighter than a tomato in a nuclear reactor. Noah sees the steam coming out of her ears and decides to poke the bear, teasing her relentlessly before her internal CPU completely melts down. But then the laughter dies down, and the mood shifts. Their fingers interlace, locking in like puzzle pieces. We are done with the cosplay buddies' excuse. This is the real deal. They are officially life partners, sealing the deal right here and now. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the absolute endgame. Just when the vibes were perfect, reality crashes the party. Her brother slides into Noah's DMs, screaming about Netaware like a total weirdo. This guy is absolutely obsessed, acting like his sister is a rare collectible card that just got stolen from his deck. Talk about having zero chill. We cut to the void, where the brother is on his knees, crashing out under a dramatic spotlight. He is taking the biggest emotional L of the century, screaming at the sky like an anime villain who just lost the final battle. You almost feel bad for him. Almost. Glasses clink for the victory lap. While Akiba looks like he is ready to pass out on the spot, she is already scheming her next move from the comfort of a sleeping bag cocoon. She is dead serious about staying in character for a full 24-hour marathon next time. Talk about dedication to the craft. But then, her brain does a hard reset. You can practically see the loading icon spinning in her eyes before she snaps back to reality. She remembers a notification that is absolute priority 1. She demands to know if he saw Noah's latest post. Akiba is buffering, totally lost in the sauce, mumbling about archives like his brain is running on dial-up internet from the 90s. She corrects him and shoves the screen in his face. It is a direct shout-out on Sledder from the legendary Noah himself, praising the photographer and the Maria cosplay. We are talking absolute clout city right now. Cut to school, where the gravity of the situation hits them like a runaway freight train. It finally clicks. That post wasn't just random noise, it was talking specifically about them. Akiba's hardware cannot handle this software update. His eyes practically detonate out of his skull like a cartoon character. He is convinced he is stuck in a fever dream, because getting noticed by Noah is basically ascending to the domain of the gods. Back at the base, Akiba checks the damage stats. 1,000 photos. She claims it is passion, but I call it digital hoarding. That poor hard drive is screaming for mercy. Time for the purge. They start doom scrolling through the gallery to delete the trash. They stumble on a candid from the car ride and decide to keep it as blackmail material for Ms. Nina. Always keep the receipts. Akiba tries to lock in, but the pressure is crushing his soul. He is sweating bullets over exposure settings while she spams him with questions about every single pixel. He thinks, if I mess this up, she ends me. Then he sees a photo of himself and his soul leaves his body. She offers to delete it, but he confesses the truth. It is not a bad photo. It is just the horror of perceiving his own existence. The uncanny valley is hitting him like a truck. He explains the bad haircut theory. You walk in expecting to look like a movie star, and you walk out looking like a baked potato. She finally understands the struggle and demands an instant retouch. She shoves a tablet directly into his face. There is no time to go home. She needs that edit yesterday. Akiba sighs, cracks his knuckles, and prepares to cook. He goes surgical mode. He shrinks the nose by 2 pixels and blasts the eye size to anime levels. She tries to argue, but he swears on his life it has to be perfect. 1 second later, he drops the stylus like a mic. He shows the raw file. Decent. Then he flips to the edit. Boom. It is so high definition it sends her brain into a system reboot. The difference is not just night and day, it is earth and heaven. She screams that it matches the anime frame for frame. The visuals are so powerful, she literally dissolves into a puddle of fangirl sludge on the floor. Akiba accepts the praise like a god accepting an offering. She recovers instantly to drop some wisdom. Cosplay is about manifesting the soul. Then she activates her trap card. He is officially hired as her personal editor for the next shoot. There is no escape. Akiba is fired up, but she is already strategizing a team pose to grab Marihiro's attention. Meanwhile, Miss Nina finally clocks out, ready to absolutely destroy the town with her credit card. Miss Nina picks the absolute worst timing in human history to open that door. She walks in expecting a boring strategy meeting, but instead she witnesses a scene that definitely wasn't meant for the public eye. She walks straight into a tactical culture nuke. The girl has Minoru pinned to the couch, gripping him with the kind of intensity that says she is ready to risk it all right here and now. The physics of the situation are undeniable. The atmosphere in the room drops to absolute zero. They freeze, muscles locking up as they process the intrusion. Inside Minoru's head, he is running the calculations, realizing there is 0.0% chance to explain this away without looking guilty. But instead of dropping the hammer, Nina's expression shifts. A smug, knowing grin spreads across her face as the gears turn. She realizes her favorite ship is finally sailing, and she is not about to sink it. She slams the door shut with the force of 1,000 wingmen to give them some quote-unquote privacy. Minoru screams for help, begging for salvation, but it is too late. Nina is already picking out the flower arrangements for the wedding in her head. We interrupt the usual chaos for a very special broadcast. It is the hardcover celebration. The interviewer does not waste a single second and ambushes him right out of the gate. She demands to know the ultimate cosplay starter pack. His answer is brutal but simple. You need a wig and a wig net. If you do not have those, do not even bother showing up to the convention. The inventory list is an absolute nightmare. You need the suitcase, the makeup kit, and you better follow the golden rule. Tape the bottom of your shoes. If you scuff that studio floor, you are done for. And do not expect a luxury powder room. That is not happening. You better pack your own mirror and deal with it yourself. He tries to laugh off his rookie mistakes, but you can see the trauma in his eyes. He actually tried to DIY a costume with zero skills. He took premium fabric and turned it into a glorified dust rag. That is not just a hobby failure. That is straight up financial self-deletion.